Hello friends, good to see you back. In this tutorial, we are going to learn about error handling. You already know we can check JavaScript error in browser console, but sometimes it's very complicated to understand it. Sometimes all the errors are shown at the same time, and it is very difficult to rectify all the error at once. So, to handle this kind of error, we have a special method in JavaScript, try and catch. And we already learned about little bit in our previous videos. Whatever code we want to do here, we paste all the code inside the try block. If there is an error inside the try block, then immediately redirect to catch block. And we can show any message inside our catch block. So without wasting your time, let's start the practical. Here you can see, side by side, I open my Visual Studio Code editor and I also open Chrome browser using Liveserver extension. First, I'm going to type script tag inside the head tag. So inside the script tag, first I'm going to type some randomly text. This text is not a variable or not a JavaScript function or not a JavaScript method. If I save this file, it's going to return an error. Here you can see a reference error. This is not defined. But sometimes errors are very complicated to understand. For this, we can use try catch method. So first, I'm going to type try. With that, we need to type catch. Inside the try block, we can type any code. So I'm going to print a message inside the console. Console.log. Inside the parenthesis, I'm going to type start and semicolon to end this line. And I'm going to duplicate this line and I'm going to type end. And then I give a space between these two messages. And if error occurs, then inside the catch block, I'm going to send a message. Console.log inside the parenthesis error. So, if there is an error in this try block, then automatically run catch block. If I save this file, here you can see there is no error. Once again, between these two messages, I'm going to type similar random text. If I save this file, now you can see in my console, first it print our start message and then it's print our error message. If there is an error in single line, then it stop executing other codes and automatically run catch method. Let me show you another example and I'm going to convert it into a function. As you can see, we do not declare this function. And if I save this file, you can see it's written the same error. First it executes our first message and whenever it tries to run the function and then it's found we do not declare this function. So it stops executing other codes and start executing catch block. So similarly, we can print this error message in our document. And now I want to see the exact error in our documents. We still don't know where is our mistake is. I want to print this exact error in my console. For this, I'm going to take parenthesis inside the catch block after the catch, and inside the parenthesis I'm going to take a variable, in our case err. So whatever error it's written, it's going to store in this variable. And if we want, we can print our error in this browser or console. So I want to type err. If I save this file, now you can see the error message. This is not defined. We do not define this blah blah text. With that, we can see the exact line number. So in that way, we can understand the error better. And also, we can handle our error one by one. It's not going to throw all the error at once. And I want to say one more important thing about try catch. It works synchronously. If we use set timeout function, it is not going to work properly. Let me show you this. So I want to remove these lines, and inside the try block, I'm going to use set timeout. And inside the set timeout function, I'm going to create an anonymous function. And then I use curly braces. And I want to delay this function for 1 second. So inside this function, I'm going to provide some error, some random text. Let's increase the delay time, 3 seconds. Now you can think, when we run this code, it's going to check this one after 3 seconds. If there is an error, it's going to redirect catch block. No, it's not work like that. When I run this code, in this case, it won't work at all. As soon as code start running, and it will come in try block, and here this function going to check that it has to run after 3 seconds. Then the code after set timeout function that will start running. If I save this file, here you can see it not showing the proper error message from the catch block. So our try catch method not work synchronously, but we can use try and catch block inside the set timeout function. So I'm going to move this try and catch block inside the set timeout function. So I'm going to cut this portion and move it inside the set timeout block. And also we need to move this catch portion. And inside the try block, I'm going to provide an error. And when we run our script, in that case, after 3 seconds, it's going to show us the exact error in our console. So let me show you that. I'm going to save this file. I need to wait for 3 seconds. Now you can see the error in our console. This is not defined. It's a reference error. So we need to use try and catch block inside the set timeout function, otherwise it's not work. Also we can show the error message separately. For this, I'm going to remove set timeout function. For now I don't need this. And inside the catch block, I'm going to type error dot name. And I duplicate this line. And now I want to print error message. Error message. We can print exact error message differently. If I save this file, here you can see error name, reference error, and error message. Blah blah is not defined. And if you want to see error name and error message together, then we can use stack. Error dot stack. If I save this file, now you can see error name, error message at once. Using error dot stack, we can print error name, error message together. And if you want to print error message or error name differently, you can. The most important line is message. We just want to know what is the exact error. So we can comment out both of the lines and just we can print the message. And if I remove this comment, here you can see a reference error. Now the question is, what is reference error? And now I'm going to tell you how many types of error are there in JavaScript. Here you can see 7 different errors in JavaScript. Our first error is eval error. This error occurs when we use eval function. It's not a very important error. Then comes range error. It's occurs when we use HTML range attribute. If error came through the range attribute, then we can show the error using range error function. Our main and important error is reference error. If I call a variable or a function which is not defined in our code, then it's written reference error. Then comes syntax error. It is the most basic and important error. When we use loops or conditions, typing mistake is the basic problem for beginner. Sometimes we forget to unclose curly braces, quotations, etc. In that case, syntax error occurs. Then comes type error. As you know, there are various types for variable: boolean, number, string, etc. These are predefined types. By mistake, user typed different type of input, then type error occurs. Our next error is URI error. This error occurs when we pass URL in URL bar. If you type any wrong method to pass URL in URL bar, then URI error occurs. And our last error is aggregate error. And I told about this error in our promise method video. When we use all method in promise, if there is an error, then we use aggregate error. When we use try catch method in JavaScript, we can show these errors. Let's start the practical. For this, first I'm going to remove all the methods. If different error occurs, for this, we can print different messages. So we can use if condition for that. If inside the parentheses, our error instance of reference error, for this, we can show different message. So inside the console, I'm going to type reference error. You can show any proper message here. And now I'm going to print different message for type error. So I'm going to type else if. Inside the parentheses, I'm going to copy this line and change reference error with type error. And inside the curly braces, I'm going to print console.log inside the parenthesis type error. If our error is instance of type error, then it's going to print this message. So we can create different else if condition for different error. And at last, I'm going to create else condition. Else inside the parenthesis console.log unknown error. And if I save this file, here you can see it's print reference error. And if type error occurs, then it print this message. Otherwise, it print unknown error. If we want to get data from the server as a JSON from, then we use try and catch. Let me show you this. So I'm going to remove all of this code. And inside the try block, I'm going to take a variable, let JSON, and I'm going to assign a dummy JSON data to this variable. And we already learned about JSON in our previous video. As a property, I'm going to take name. Inside the double quotes, name, colon, inside the double quotes, value, add 1. And similarly, I'm going to take another property, age. It's a numeric value and age is 24. It's a numeric value, so we don't use quotation. It's a JSON format. Assume that we get this data from the server. For this, we can use fetch method or Ajax. It's depend on you. So first we need to convert this data into a JavaScript object. So I'm going to take a variable, let user, and I'm going to use a JSON method, JSON.parse. And inside the parenthesis, I'm going to provide the variable name, JSON. Basically, JSON.parse function going to convert JSON object into a JavaScript object. And similarly, we have opposite function, JSON.stringify, and it convert our JavaScript object into a JSON data. If we want to convert the server data into an object, then we need to use JSON.parse function. And if we want to pass data to the server, then we convert the JavaScript object into a JSON data using JSON.stringified method. And now we can read the data from the user variable. So I'm going to print the data in my console. Console.log inside the parenthesis user.name. And if there is an error in our code, I'm going to print this error in my console. Console.log error. And also I want to print student age. So I duplicate this line, user.age. That's it. Before I save this file, we need to move this JSON code inside the quotation. Otherwise, it's act like an JavaScript object. If I save this file, here you can see student name, add 1, and his age, 24. If there is an error in server or the JSON file, then we can show the proper message using try and catch block. Suppose there is an error in the JSON file, so I'm going to remove one quotation. Now the JSON format is not correct. And if I save this file, here you can see there is an error in line number 14. Syntax error, unexpected token A in JSON at position 16. It cannot read the A. It expected a quotation, not the A character. That's why it's written the error. And if you show your own message, yes, you can. For this, we can throw an error message from the try block. Let me show you. But first, I'm going to resolve this JSON file. And now I'm going to create a condition. If, inside the parenthesis, if we do not receive username in JSON format, inside the if condition, I'm going to throw a message. We use a different method. Throw new error. That's it. And inside the parenthesis, I'm going to show a message. Incomplete data. And our message is no name. And I'm going to move this line below the if condition. And now I'm going to remove the name from the JSON data. And if I save this file, here you can see incomplete data, no name. And after printing the error message, it stopped executing our code. When we throw the error message, it automatically redirects to the catch block and print the message in our console. At last, I want to show you one thing. With try and catch block, we can use another block, finally. Basically, it's optional. If we use finally block, no matter what, it's going to execute. Basically, I want to say, if there is an error in our code, it stops executing other code in our try block, but it cannot stop executing finally block. Let me show you. Console.log, inside the parenthesis, I'm going to print a message. No matter what, I'm going to print. If I save this file, here you can see, first it print our error, incomplete data, no name, and then it print, no matter what, I'm going to print. And if I resolve the error, name, add 1. And if I save this file, you can see it print student name, add 1. Also it prints student age, 24. And then it jump into the finally block and print, no matter what, I'm going to print. It's not going to check there is an error or not. This block will always execute. So finally method run in every case. I hope now you understand why we use try and catch block and how we can handle errors in our code. Thanks for watching this video.